If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you about it. It's free, which is amazing. And there are these really cool creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it's easy to be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts. And you get to make money with no minimum listenership, which is really cool. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started right away. Yoga teachers, mindfulness leaders, and energy workers, are you ready to stop side hustling and start making an income doing what you love? Welcome to the Marketing Off the Mat podcast. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we'll dive into conversations with successful creatives in wellness, business, marketing, and more to uncover practical methods to take you from A to B and have some fun along the way. My name is Jessica Cross, and I'm so excited to be here with you. Let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing Off the Mat. This is Jess, and I'm so glad you're here. So we have stepped into the final month of the year, and one of the things that is so common and pervasive in the messaging and maybe even conversations that we have with our friends, maybe our colleagues or those that we're in community with is I'll get started in the new year, or I'll wait for the new year to get a fresh start. So it's so common. I hear it all the time. And sometimes I will even feel this way. So if you're feeling this way in your business right now, it's just, I'll just wait till January. It's no big deal. You're not alone, because I feel like this is something that we all hear very often, especially being in the yoga and wellness community, is just, new year, new you. It's a fresh start. It's time to recommit to yourself. And it is in a lot of ways. But as we're approaching the end of 2021, I want to challenge you to think in a different way. And I'll get to that here in a minute. We're in the holiday season where we kind of start potentially slacking off, for lack of a better term, in favor of all the things that are on the table for us to capture our attention, like travel for the holidays, dinners, more time with family and friends. If you have kids, you might be being pulled into 15 different directions with all of their obligations as well. And all of these things are really great and important. It's so important for us to take time and pause to reflect upon the year, spend time with our loved ones, and all of that. Rest is essential, y'all. So take that with a grain of salt. But when we start using these things as a means to distract us from doing the big, scary things that are going to move us forward in our business, it ain't so great. So it's so important to enjoy the holidays and embrace them, but don't allow yourself to be pulled in so deeply that when come January, you're wishing that you would have taken even some tiny actions towards making a business of your dreams. So how do we do this? So I have 4 ways for you, 4 ways to get that new year fresh start, quote unquote, right now. So the first way is to schedule some focused time. So put some time on your calendar. And if you're a written calendar person, you're a Google Calendar person, whatever it is, if you will put this down as a meeting with yourself and use it as an hour to work on something that will help move you forward, a piece of something that you're wanting to put out into the world, be it an Instagram post, or maybe you're working on a course. If you could schedule an hour or 20 minutes even a day between now and the end of the year, it's really going to add up. So look at your schedule, put focused time on your calendar, and stick to it. And that's my next tip, is commit to this time is just as you would with any other meeting. So don't cheat yourself, y'all. Don't cheat yourself by giving this time to other commitments. This is your time. And yes, of course, life's going to happen. Give yourself the space and the grace for things to come up, but also check yourself. If there is something that's happening that's, maybe a little shinier, even if it's, I got to fold that load of laundry, and you're using it as a means of, it feels like progress, but it's technically taking down all of those other little to-do lists and tasks that we have in our everyday that's not necessarily moving us forward. So I know you know the difference. So commit to this time. So my next tip I think is so important is reward yourself. Let your brain know that this time, this focused time that you've scheduled on your calendar is something good. Make it something for you to look forward to. Get your favorite playlist going, a favorite music, get a coffee, your favorite pen or notebook or whatever it is. Create the environment so that when every time you go to this spot or this time on your calendar, your brain automatically knows it's like this is fun. This is a safe place for me to create, for me to lean into something that's really important. And then also that reward yourself goes on the back end too. So let's say you've committed to your 20 minutes of focus time for 3 days in a row. Maybe you upgrade that coffee. Get yourself something really sweet that only you know, that little treat, if it's an experience that you're working towards after you've completed this work, or if it's a little daily treat to sweeten that time that you're working on your business, make it happen. If this is the thing that's going to move you forward and that little treat reward system does it, it's worth it. So take the time to reward yourself. And then the fourth one, and perhaps the most important, is to track your progress. Measure your progress by tracking what you've done with this time. So there's a few ways you could do this. You could capture each day or each time that you have completed this focus time on your calendar, maybe put it in the calendar notes and say, for 20 minutes, I cranked out 2 Instagram posts that will get me through the end of the week. Or I wrote down 15 podcast episode ideas, or I reached out to somebody who I would like to interview for the blog. Whatever it is that you are doing, be sure to track it in some way that makes sense for you. It could be in a journal, it could be in a spreadsheet, a Google Doc, you know what way works the best for your brain. But I want you to take the time at the end of every bit of focus time, if it's 2 minutes, to record a bullet or two about what you did with this time. And then on the 31st of this month, or if you're doing this as an exercise at any time, go back and look at all the things that you accomplished with just committing this hour or this 20 minutes to working on your business, because you will see how much further down the road you are because you decided to take action. All right. These tiny little steps really, really add up. Now, I want to give you a journal prompt. And you can use this at the end of your focused time, or if you would like to save it for the end of the month, or whatever cadence that you're doing this in, use this journal prompt. How do I feel after completing this focused time or throughout this process? Do you feel accomplished? Do you feel like you wish you would have gotten more done? Do you feel like you would have wish you could have committed a little bit better? Or do you feel on top of the world because that major blog article that's been sitting on your list for the entire year is finally done and you're ready to launch it? Capture how you feel. It's a part of this tracking your progress that I think is going to make a big difference in a mindset shift when it comes to approaching work and making time for these things, and how you approach your work in general. When you see your results, when you see how you've committed to taking some steps that move you forward, you're going to feel all that much better for the next time you approach a little mountain or a giant mountain in your business. So I hope you found that helpful. These 4 steps really help me, especially that committing to this focused time to get 20 minutes of something done. We can do anything for 20 minutes, right? And if you can commit to yourself, I promise at the end of this month, as you're leading up to January, you're going to feel like you've actually done something with this time rather than putting it off until January 1 and wishing you'd be just a little bit further down the road. So I'm going to be doing this process with you. Hit me up on Instagram. It's at jessicacross.co. Let me know if you're feeling this. Let me know if you're going to start scheduling some focus time over the next couple of weeks around kids' concerts and your commute. Figure out that time and let me know how it's going. I love to chat about this. So send me a DM at jessicacross.co. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It really helps me, this one woman show. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a beautiful time at your desk enjoying your focus time. We'll talk soon. Thanks for listening to the Marketing Off the Mat podcast. I love hanging with you as we figure this thing out together. Do you have an idea or something to share with me? Send me a DM on Instagram at jessicacross.co and let me know what's on your mind. I'd be so grateful if you shared this with someone who could use this episode. And if you get a chance, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Catch you on the next episode. See ya.